Hello everyone, my name is Johnson Kiiza from Public Health Ambassadors Uganda, and I'm excited and elated to welcome you and host the It Takes Two podcast. Now, if you're here for the very first time, It Takes Two is a safe and unopen space where we share, we hold conversations that are inspired towards breaking gender barriers, embracing gender equity, and accelerating gender equality. Now, we host this conversation so that we can create an enabling and a safe environment where every man, every woman can thrive and can enjoy their rights to the fullest. So, in today's episode, first of all, it is dedicated towards the International Menstrual Hygiene Day, and we are going to have in detail conversations that are comfortable and uncomfortable around menstruation. I do have a panel with me that is going to be breaking down everything to do with menstruation. But before I introduce them, I would like to take this moment in a special way to recognize and thank our partners that have made these conversations possible. So I'd like to thank Global Affairs Canada and the Aga Khan Foundation Uganda. Thank you for supporting these conversations, and thank you for supporting this podcast. So right now, allow me introduce the amazing panel. So I'm going to start from my right. First of all, you're welcome. Tell us your name, what you do, and if there is anything else you want us to know about you.
Thank you so much, Johnson, and we're happy to be here and to have these conversations with you. My name is Joanna. I'm from Public Health Ambassadors Uganda, and I work as a project officer for the Let Her Shine project. Yeah, and I'm here to have all the comfortable and uncomfortable conversations about menstruation. Thank you, Johnson, for hosting us.
Thank you, Joanna. You are welcome to the A table. Yes, next on my right.
Thank you, Johnson. I'm Florence Kenya. I work with Public Health Ambassadors Uganda as an M&E officer, but I'm also an SRHR advocate.
Yes, you are welcome, Florence. And so Florence and Joanna are the panelists that you'll always see, or you've always seen on the A table, but you have a special guest here in our midst, an amazing lady that I'm going to allow to introduce herself, and then we are going to hear more from her. So you're welcome. Just tell us who you are and anything you want us to know about you.
Thank you, Johnson. Hello, everyone. My name is May Namata. I am a laboratory technologist, and I work with Women's Hospital International and Fertility Center in Bukoto and Synax Laboratories. And I am very passionate about the female reproductive health, and I'm very happy and pleased to be here.
Yes, thank you so much. You are welcome, May Lighton. Menstruation hygiene is one of those things that it's part of our lives. Some people talk about it openly, some people talk about it like under a blanket. Some people interpret it or understand it differently. There are so many conversations around it. And I just want us to have this episode breaking down everything around menstruation. For us also to learn, but especially for our viewers to maybe pick one or two things, and also they can join into the conversation through the comment section. So when you talk about menstruation, I just wanted to start. I'm going to start with Florence. If you are talking to young girls who are maybe they are just getting to their puberty, and a young girl who is just getting to her puberty, what would you explain to them as a period is? What is a period? What brings about a period? What is the whole thing around a period?
A period, menstruation. You just have to tell them it's a sign that you're maturing into a woman, moving from being a girl to being a woman.
Yeah, but someone can say, can't I move from a girl to a woman without? Why the period?
It's It's something that shows our system is maturing, our reproductive system is maturing, and it's functional. Yes.
So what brings the whole thing to do with bleeding?
Bleeding, it all begins with our eggs maturing, and they are released into the uterus preparing itself to hold the child or a fetus. And if fertilization doesn't take place, it all comes out.
So it all comes out. So, you are looking at a young girl, so you're talking to. Usually the other questions they ask, so at what point do they start in my life? I'm talking about a young girl. At what age usually do the periods start?
Basically, earlier it used to be between 11, 12, but now our lifestyles have changed. Our diet is different. What we do on a daily has changed, so it pushes to 9 for some kids, and then it pushes to 15, 13 for others. Yeah, so it varies, though the diet and our lifestyle has made that shift. Though if you start at 9, it's okay. If you start at 15, it's also fine.
So, apart from, because now people in most cases, they understand it by, of course, the girls understand by bleeding. Even the boys, now they have just a small idea, the bleeding, but there are terms like period, like menstruation. May, what, to a lay person, how do you explain to them why it is called menstruation?
Why it is called menstruation? Menstruation basically is the shedding of the lining of the uterus and the tissue because fertilization hasn't taken place. But where the whole word menstruation comes from, it comes from menses and menicus, which is Greek, from a Greek origin, and it's related with the cycle of the moon. So the way it happened every month with the cycle of the moon, and therefore they related it with that menses, therefore the menstruation. It happened at that monthly, moonly. In fact, in some communities you hear them still referring to menstruation as the moon, the period of the moon, the period, because it was that time, it was related to that moon, period. And the cycle is, in those days, that's how it was. An average cycle is about 28 days. So that is, it would happen every after 25 days, and that would be like the cycle of the moon.
So that's where
so
the
in
word...
Greek mythology, the word came from the menses and then menstruation.
I see.
Yes.
Now it makes more sense. So there is when girls get in their periods, usually from the rumors we hear, and some of also the questions some girls ask or some women ask is, I don't know, are there different blood colors that people see when they are menstruating? Is it the same? Because all of us know that blood is red. So is it the same? Because some people say there is a different color. So can you explain something around that?
Yes, it's not exactly the same red. It is a different variation of red, but it's not like there's a difference. The biggest difference is generally fresh blood is red, a bright red. So the fresher the blood, the more red. But we know that this blood takes a while in the uterus. So usually, especially at the beginning of menstruation, it's darker. It's more darker red towards a brown. That's usually at the beginning or the end. Because at the beginning, the blood that has stayed longer in the uterus, in that system, in the uterus and the whole vagina coming down, will be a little bit darker. Then it gets redder in the intensity of the period, and then towards the end it will be darker. But then also there are certain conditions where the blood would be maybe a little bit different. For example, if it's too light, in conditions where people may have anemia, when they've overbled, the blood may be a little bit lighter red to pink. And then maybe people who have certain diseases, it could also have a different color. People have seen in people who have something called bacterial vaginosis, it could be grayish. The blood may tend to a grayish color. But usually it's a variation of red, and the red is usually darker at the beginning and at the end, and usually more red in the middle. And the red is just when blood mixes with oxygen, it gets a deeper color. So the longer it has stayed in the canal or in the uterus, it may end up having a darker color. So that's maybe it about the blood, but it's all mostly red.
Okay.
Yeah.
So whatever color is turning, whether dark red, it is normal.
It's normal.
Okay.
Yes.
So there is no problem.
Yes.
With it. All right. So Joanna and both Florence and May, you can chip in whenever you can. So first of all, Florence, you told us, you gave us an idea of the age when period start. Maybe to make it clear, does menstruation happen with every woman?
Every woman should menstruate. Every normal woman, every woman who is undergoing a normal cycle should menstruate. Although medically there are those who, but those are not normal. Those are not healthy. That means that they are sick.
They are sick.
Yes, they are not
But
normal.
every normal woman should menstruate.